Vibe Tribe. Rocking with Enurodacy. And today we troll the Whatever Podcast. We are going to troll the Whatever Podcast. Stiggity. Happy day. Let's start off with a motivational quote, shall we? As a sculptor, we carve connections out of stone. Stiggity. I would imagine that as a sculptor of salts and things and stuff and such, we sculpt stuffs and things. Alright, I know y'all want to get into it as far as the stream being me trolling whatever podcast. And for today's episode, before we vibe, just lo-fi vibe. Siggity. I was mentioning change and evolution as far as the understanding that doing the same thing over and over again is insanity. So I have shifted how I have shared our content and shared myself. And as I've shifted that, I've evolved that. Stiggity. Different platforms and, different parts of my personality. Let me unmute. Plenty of research providing negative effects pill as on women. Read the book. It's your brain on birth control.
The nuclear family's
and your brain on birth control. Your brain on birth control. Things and stuff and such. She's like, what the freaking the fuck of
Patriarchy, feminism would have never. You admitted earlier that feminism would not have existed if not to reverse the patriarchy, and you just said that feminism is the root cause of all these issues because we're trying too hard to reverse the oppression that you've put onto us.
So my first note was asking you, is not an entailment of feminism
tense conversation
going to be, if it is to resist the patriarchy, that there is a patriarchy? The answer is yes. So I'm just looking at your entailment. But patriarchy is not what caused feminism. Occultism is what caused feminism. Occultism caused the church specifically.
The existence
what does this content entail? It entails ads for freaking
if society had
vacuum cleaners
from the start. I'm not saying completely.
Speaking of which, I need to steam clean my rugs
the
And
start.
I need
where
to
each individual
vacuum
is already able
and
to
steam
choose,
clean,
do I want to
you
take
know,
care of the
things
kids
and
or do
stuff
I
and
want to
such.
work? Let me go find a mate who's the opposite. Not based on the gender, but just based on individual, like, their inclinations in life. Then I don't think women would be as
Yeah, but you're
hateful of men.
that's really funny.
She must
that
have read the
you bring this up.
dictionary.
That feminism.
Leith donated $200. It really is crazy how privilege is invisible to people who have it. She has no idea how dangerous environment was long time now. Even now, no one is going to provide her security other than men.
That's correct.
Thank
So
you,
if
lady.
you
True,
have
but
privilege,
Continue on.
Anyway,
I
what you're
would
saying
begin
is this.
to work
is that
on
you're
showing
arguing
gratitude.
back to you.
Because
Saying
maybe
if
you
patriarchy
are a
didn't exist,
stone
women would not have
cold,
to fight for the fucked
you know,
up conditions that we find ourselves
Motherfucker,
in after they resisted
you
patriarchy.
know,
Brilliant argument.
within
Genius.
one of the
Love it.
facets of your personality,
No,
But
and
that's
you
right.
may be
women wouldn't have to
multifaceted
fight the fucked up
individual. And I wouldn't say, multifaceted
And they started
individuals
with
are not fake
egalitarianism, right?
individuals.
And don't we have more egalitarianism now than we did under the
Multifaceted
patriarchy? And we
individuals
find ourselves in these
are
fucked up conditions.
not complicated
which means if we had
individuals.
egalitarianism then, those would have been worse than the
multifaceted
patriarchy.
We were in
because it is
fucked
now.
up conditions before
What?
too. It's just
What were the
different
fucked up
ways.
conditions?
Well, I mean, women were just all tied down to one outcome, and they couldn't vote.
No, they weren't
Personally,
tied
I
down
would-
to one
I would
outcome.
love my daughters to be able to do whatever the fuck they want.
So let me ask you this. If we could
You know,
guarantee,
to
let's just say we
smash,
could guarantee
to crush does
that
not necessarily
children would end up
mean
with way better outcomes in society. We
within
could
the
guarantee
essence of
right?
my vibe,
If
my
parents
today,
stayed together,
vibe today,
or even
things
better,
and
let's
stuff
phrase
and
it this
such.
way.
So,
We could guarantee that children will have
I
better outcomes in society.
hear what
if
you're
women don't
saying,
have
but
the right
I
to vote. Would you take
have
away
a
the right
different
to vote?
approach of
No.
communication
If we could
in the
guarantee
chat.
that the
You know,
outcomes for mental illness would greatly reduce if you took away the right to women. women's
chat
vote,
Matt.
for women to vote.
No.
If you could guarantee
Pray Matt.
women would be far more secure and actually much happier if you took away their right to vote. Would you take away the right to vote? If you could guarantee that they would be happier if they could not vote, would you take away the right to vote?
That would never happen.
No, answer my question.
Answer my question.
No, I don't. believe
This
that
is
would
a forum
Okay.
where you
If
can ask questions
you
and hope
thought
that, you know, the
that the
universe,
case could be
you know,
made
answers your questions.
that their
And
happiness
also,
would greatly
there's a part of
increase
that
if their
that
mental
stops
illness
the universe from answering your
took away their
questions,
right
you
to
know,
vote.
things
Would
and
you
stuff
do
and
that?
such.
It's
you
not
know,
about happiness. You're doing
Yeah.
the hedonist
birth
thing on
control
me.
and,
In this case, it's about individual choice and value,
you know, and
not hedonism.
things and stuff and such.
But hedonism is the outcome.
I'm saying it's you're.
So what I'm asking you ultimately is this, I'll condense it. Would you take away women's rights to vote if it led to, generally speaking, better societal outcomes?
That's not what would happen, though.
You know,
And
there
but if
are
it
women
were
that are
to happen,
dominating
that just generally
within male,
societal
you know,
outcomes
as
got
predominantly
better.
male-dominated
Would you take away the right to vote?
societies, you know, and scenes
I wouldn't.
You
within
wouldn't, I know. And so this
world.
is the distinction between our morals.
I would imagine.
Is that I believe that you live in contradiction, and that the right to vote, this right that you perceive under, you know, the 19th Amendment, this type of thing, that even if we
People
could guarantee
should
that the
be
outcomes
able
were better
to
if it was gone, you would still insist that it was there.
vote
I think that
how
that's the
they
case
want
with
to
abortion. I
vote.
think that that's the case with probably most of your beliefs, because that's feminist.
As far as
beliefs.
doing,
Like, for
I don't
instance,
think that
if we could guarantee
society
that women
should
would
have
get far less venereal
a
diseases
opinion.
and would have far less problems
You know,
in
then
society
again,
if we could criminalize
no, I don't think
premarital
society
sex.
should have an opinion. Though
Would you do it?
we have the
I
voting
wasn't listening to
system,
your question,
and
but
you know,
one of
as
those is an
Well, I'm not
ideology.
gonna,
you
I'm
know,
not going to debate with
Okay,
you.
things
repeat
and
that,
stuff
I'm
and such,
sorry.
that is
Well, it's because I was thinking of what I was
that
going to
is
say next. My fault for being a slow woman. You
just,
can repeat your question.
uh,
if you'd like.
I'll
a
repeat
view
the
of your
question,
opinion
make it even simpler.
that's not
What I'm
necessarily
saying to you
definitive.
is this,
You know,
if
the
if
power
you
of the
could
people,
make a law
you know,
which curtailed
truly
female
breaks
promiscuity
down
being
to, or not
criminal
truly,
for
it
men
doesn't
and
break
women
down,
to
it
have
breaks up to
premarital
the
sex,
freedom,
and that led to better outcomes for
the
society.
freedom of your choice. You have the freedom to choose
No.
how you want to live your life, how you want to identify within life.
The hedonism
You know?
and pure selfism is the most important value, not individualism.
It's an emphasis on empathy.
We should not be
Empathy.
providing
Yes, it is. It's
power
empathy for the individual,
to the
because your
individuals
ideology
that,
is not based on empathy. It's based purely on subjectivism through the
you
Bible.
know, their
and
opinion is
religious-
subjective
I haven't
through
offered a
perspective
single
because,
biblical argument.
you know,
I'm just purely
Almost
operating
who's
on
really
hedonistic.
in,
I'm
what's
literally
really
going
in,
off of this.
you know, whom are the people that are,
The
you know, putting in the
worldview
work,
is utilitarianism.
you know, put in the effort, I'm sorry, not the
Utilitarianism being
work.
harm. This comes from
You know,
Mill, who
and,
says that harm is a physicality which exists
do we
inside
view it as
of the
work, or
norms
do
of
we
politics,
view it as,
individualism,
you know,
enlightenment?
things and stuff and
I'm
such?
going off
Because
of your
as
worldview,
opinions
which
are
I wrote down
subjective
and
to,
repeating back,
Like
have not
I
made
said at the beginning
a
before I told you everything that I
single
could not
biblical
fully
Opinions
describe
are
my
objective
worldview with just
to-
random ideological things, and you are already putting me in a box from that point. I can just believe what I believe without having to classify it.
That's true, you can, right? But ultimately, it's incoherent and it doesn't make a lot of sense. And when you say, well, wait, you're coming at me with a biblical worldview, no, I'm just giving you back your own worldview. I'm literally I just ran an entire internal critique showing you that ultimately, if we reduce all of these issues to outcomes for society, you would still not curtail behaviors like promiscuity, divorce. You wouldn't curtail any of these things, even if it led to better outcomes for children.
Because
which
that's
is
like
not-
eugenics, basically.
That is not
Isn't
utilitarianism.
this like okay, I see.
you down with the freaking
Well,
stiggity
You're
stiggity?
right.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm good. Brian.
I got some more stuff. Actually, something that just came.
I was going
the
to, I
questions
was
that
going
you
to
were asking her.
dictionary.com.
So Andrew, you asked her if
I was,
outcomes
that comes
were
from
to be better for
dictionary.com.
women if they couldn't vote.
You know,
Your answer was.
I, you know, am elated whenever
Your answer
people
was she would
utilize
take
I would
language
still
improperly,
want her.
right?
Right. Even if.
Big words and things and stuff and such.
Being
This
able to
is
vote, the outcomes would be better. You still wouldn't opt for that.
It's the same argument as don't you
No, just
believe
answer it,
people have like free choice?
No, but-
even if they can choose the wrong outcomes, people should be able to choose their own life path.
I don't believe in free choice. Believe in free will.
Okay, then yeah.
Free will
But-
is not choice.
So my question is though, and you said no, you would not do that, even though it would
Yes,
lead to
yes.
better outcomes for women, correct?
Yes.
If it led to better outcomes for women, for men to not be able to vote, would you be in favor of that?
No.
Okay, that's fair.
No, I figured she'd be consistent. with
Okay, got it. We have a couple chats. Why don't we read those? So we have GR Gracie. By the way, guys, get your chats in if you'd like. We're going to go for a little bit longer. Young lady, stop being so stubborn. You're entering prime baby making age. Find good man.
the
Start having
Bible
kids.
verse in the chat.
Experience your
For
best
those people who
life.
are free, not
Seriously,
using
dying
freedom
barren,
as
dying
a cover up
barren,
for
excuse
evil,
me, is a
but
wasted
living
life.
as servants of God.
Do you want to respond to
Stiggity, stiggity.
GR Gracie?
What if I'm infertile? Then what am I supposed to seek out? Adoption? Yeah.
Are you?
Okay.
Or
But I'm just curious. Like,
Or widowed man.
Proud
There
of
are any number
you
different
for
ways that you would end up
adding a
with
Bible verse. That is very stiggity, stiggity.
Okay. Thank you, GR Gracie, for that. Appreciate it. I'm going to pull up the soup chats now. We have Steven Carrera. Thank you, man. Appreciate the soup chat. Get a refund from your college. You're getting real education with Andrew and not from Bolshevik infiltrate indoctrination daycare centers, college. Okay. If women do not produce Christian children, well, I hope you feminists like Sharia law. Okay. Thank you.
isn't Sharia law closer to the religious state that you guys might want?
You don't want a religious state.
Okay, the synergistic religious.
You mean economy?
Sharia law
Sorry.
is a body of
If a
religious
Christian
law that
politician,
forms a part
they
of the
vote,
Islamic tradition
and
based
their
on scriptures
inside
of
their head
Islam,
morals are guided
particularly
by
the
the
Quran
right? Is that
and
still a
Hadith.
division
Is
of
it
church and
Hadith?
state?
Yes, because they're representing
In
Christians
Arabic,
who are part of their
the term
constituency.
Sharia
Gotcha.
refers
So
to
if we
God's
have
immutable
mostly a
divine
Christian
law.
constituency, and
And this
Christians
is
go in and start
referencing-
making laws,
And this
Right,
referencing
like-
It would have
is
to be done through a democratic
contrasted with
process.
yeah, even if it was done through a democratic process, nobody's saying it couldn't be.
by, which refers
Right, but
to
you can have a
interpretation
democracy
by
and still
Islamic
have
scholars.
economy with a church. You can have a king and have economy with a church. Christianity and Christian ethics can exist in any type of government. Even communism can exist as long as the communists don't wipe them out.
Your Bible is just as intangible as the rights that our current government is founded on. except one of them expresses itself as an object of morality, complete morality, because of the good outcomes it creates in society for women and children, and whereas the other one is just individual rights.
Of divine favor.
No, I don't think that's the case. So, I mean, forgive me if I'm not following this correctly, but
what
you're
Sharia,
saying that
the meaning of
values
Sharia
are
law
just as
reads.
subjective as
Rights.
as your
There
rights
are
and
5
preferences.
rules.
Yeah.
Well, that can't really be true even from a subjective angle, because if you say you're a Christian, then you have to adhere to Christian ethics. Or
False.
No, but then you can't be a Christian.
Isn't it just that
You
you're
could be
saved?
Christian, you could be
If-
Protestant, you could be Baptist, you
born
could
in
be,
Mexico and you live in Mexico,
you
or
know,
in America,
whatever genre within
Obviously, the
Christianity
question
that
of
you
citizenship is not the
would
same as religious
because there's a
maybe
specific
want to
criteria, right? So you can't just calling yourself an American wouldn't
be.
make you one.
I'm
Anyone who
non-denominational
believes in God is considered. Okay, it depends what sect you follow.
No, everything has specific criteria.
You know,
Christianity, faith
and
in Christ.
you know, just
all
as
of them-
specific criteria as
All of them are subjective, and they're
non-denominational
all written
Christian.
down
But
and made
if-
up by
it-
different
But if
men.
there
It-
is specific
it
criteria
means
for
that
Christianity, then you would have to follow specific ethical frameworks within Christianity.
You
From a
are
secular
not
framework
following,
preference,
you know,
you're
specific,
actually telling
you know,
them
ethics of
to follow
frameworks,
whatever
more
set
or
of
less
ethics
you
they
are.
so choose. That's
Isn't
the
that better than
distinction.
telling everyone to just follow the one that you ascribe to?
No, it's way worse,
Was it
especially for
moral?
society.
Moral.
Do you want people
moralizing.
to arbitrarily decide whether or not they can murder
So if
based on their
everyone-
preferences?
So if everyone in
And
America
moralizing,
subscribes to
not
Hinduism, we just
demoralizing.
have a great time tomorrow with our new Hindu democratically elected
No, but it
government?
would still be a more moral society than if everybody was secularists who follow their own whims and preferences.
So that's just where we fundamentally disagree. I believe you can have morality in
You
secularism,
know,
and you
shared
think it's fundamentally
within
impossible
freedom
to be
of
secular
speech,
and moral.
How
you know,
can
religion
say
would,
that
you know,
preferences are what is
that
moral
would
for
fall
your own
within the
individual
religious
preference,
context,
and nothing but
within
your
societal
individual preference.
outcomes.
And then say his
You
could
know,
be wrong
freedom
about
of speech,
anything.
you have the
How can you do
freedom
that?
to
Well, I'm
practice
not
whatever
saying
religion, you
the
have the
individual
freedom to
preference
believe in
of
whatever
each
religion
individual
you
person
want
is
to believe.
moral. I'm saying
You know,
what the moral thing to do
whoever's
is
religion,
allow everyone
you know,
to
you
have
have
their own
the
individual
freedom to
preferences.
believe.
Then how can
What you want
anybody
to believe
justify
in.
that anybody else's
You
morality is
know,
incorrect?
that does not
if
mean
Harm
everybody-
that.
Okay, but that's a subjective preference again. We
Harm
should
principle is not a subjective preference
listen. Why should we
It does
follow
not
the
mean
harm
that
principle?
you are
because it actually
You know,
causes physical harm at that
pulling,
point.
Yeah,
you
but that's
know,
not telling us what we should
actions
follow.
out of
I know it does. It does
context
cause
of
harm.
the
but
morality
why ought
of
we
religion.
not cause harm?
You know,
Because you're infringing on
could
someone
be
else's
context of the
ability to
morality
exercise
of
why
their
should
you
we
know
value that?
subset religion
Because,
that
like I
we
said
have
in the beginning, it's
people
about
within our country
individuality.
that
You have
practice
empathy.
all
Treat every-
religions. So should
what's
we
the
not,
golden rule?
you
Treat
know,
every other person
That
as
would be
you
have
the
yourself.
those, you
that
know,
would be
have
the
those
categorical
rights
imperative,
to
but all of this will reduce.
practice,
Yeah, Kant's categorical
you know,
imperative.
If I keep
You're
on
reminded.
Genres of
if I keep on
religion
moving down,
with
the goal here is going
our
to reduce to relativism. Why should we follow that? Why should we follow this? Why should we follow that?
non-denominational
Eventually it's gonna get
structure
down to because you don't
still
prefer that idea,
intact.
right? There's really no other way around that.
So it's either religion or moral relativism.
That's right.
Okay, then
So
anyone
if
who's
it's
not
moral-
religious, you're a
Religion
moral
or moral
relativist.
relative?
Yeah, well,
Congrats.
they all
Relative?
know that. They all know
A
that.
moral relative.
Like none of them are
I didn't.
confused.
Oh,
Yeah, but
I
now
guess
you
I'm
did,
just-
now you know. Yeah, it
Not
basically
moral
always
relative.
reduces. There could be some, I mean,
So
some arguments I
moralized.
think which can be made against it, but basically all of it reduces to relativism and preference. So if it does, and it's all just based on your preferences,
Morality.
just things you prefer.
Principles
then you can
concerning
never
the
justify why this
distinction
guy's
between
preferences
right and
and
wrong,
that guy's preferences
good and
are no
bad
better than your
behavior.
own.
You can
Morality.
justify it based on the categorical imperative. Are
Yeah,
you
well, that would
using
be
other people or
deontology.
oppressing other people for your own
You just said
personal
you're
gain?
utilitarian,
No.
categorical imperative. That's Kantianism. That's deontology.
I know
They're
that
in
you're
opposition to
stupid.
each other.
I wrote my college application essay on Kant.
Then how
so
did you
he's
not
probably
know
my
that?
favorite.
I'm not
Kant
stupid.
is
I'm
literally the
freaking
opposite of
super
Jonathan Milne.
freaking sane.
Opposite, 100%. The
Yeah.
deontology is direct
Super
opposition
sane.
to utilitarianism. One is consequentialism, one's universalism. So, like, I don't know. Yeah, they're not even
Well,
in the
I
same
was
universe.
just saying we already showed that I'm not actually utilitarian.
Yeah, and
You fucked me up from the beginning because you asked me to classify myself and I don't know what I am.
Okay. Well, fair enough.
All right, we have another chat here from
Why?
Bonnie Jones. Hey, Bonnie Jones, thank you very much, man. Appreciate the soup chat. Ladies and
Is it
gentlemen,
that
it
there's
is
too
solely
much
half
stuff
the things
to
we
believe
agree on
in, or,
with.
you know?
It makes men more feminine and women blank, blank, blank. Okay, Brian
Things and
Johnson.
stuff and such.
Excuse me.
No, going off that context, as a matter of fact,
It's in fucking
there's too
free.
much stuff to believe in. So
Alright,
going off that
thank you, I
context,
appreciate
right
that.
there,
Your last
we
minute
would be
chats,
practicing
if you have
our
them.
religion.
Let me just double check
You know,
here. We do have
you know,
a
we
we
would be practicing our religion.
Ironic,
you know,
bringing up
as,
eugenics
you know,
when it was and has been a tenet of progressivism in the U.S., Margaret Sanger, etc.
I'm not
Etc. You can practice your religion, etc. I think
Founded Planned Parenthood.
maybe we practice your religion with you. You know,
Yeah.
things and stuff and such.
Interesting.
I don't know. There are no other
Never mind.
multicultural societies
Earlier on in the conversation,
within
you
the
mentioned
world
about
to be able to
hedonism.
draw
And
comparison.
I don't want to misquote
And
you.
the
You said
only
something
ones that
along
we
the lines
have
of
kind of
people should be
provide
able to
us
do
with, you know,
whatever
bit
they
of
want
bleak
and pursue like, the
perspective,
maximum
you know, but then again,
degree or
you know,
happiness.
weather,
As
as
long as it
well.
doesn't break the
This is
categorical
so
competitive imperative, meaning they're not hurting other people in the process.
Okay.
So,
So, but that's your kind of guiding philosophy.
not exactly. I'd say hedonism is more of like a personal philosophy for me. And I think that's typically in the
All my friends are heathens. I'm not a
People should be
heathen.
allowed
I'm not a
to be
friend.
hedonistic if they
I'm a friend. Who
want
is
to
it?
be. The government
There's a
should
difference
not say, you
between
shouldn't be hedonistic. You should
entertainer.
be moral and stay home and take care of your kids. Like the government's not the one who should be saying.
I'm a friendly rude.
If you're
I'm
saying
a friendly
that they
rude.
do something,
Things and stuff and
they
such.
ought not do that. Then you're saying that the
It is
government should
a
follow
facet
its
within
preferences.
my
Whose preferences
yeah,
should
my
it follow.
comfortable personality.
And
Personality.
whose
Just
preferences
kinda-
should they follow?
Girl next
Their
door.
own.
Then everybody's individualistic preferences are just
Things
as
and
valid
stuff and
as
such.
anybody else's.
That means that I can
Okay.
Just
Never
saying.
said they
what is
weren't.
it? Communicate
And
with
so, when it comes to the
whomever I want to
hedonism, you said
communicate
that's
with.
your own personal.
Not completely. I was just
But-
throwing some words in there. I don't
Okay.
know.
Well, I mean, how does that manifest for you?
Hedonism? I was trying to use that more in the
Just-
context of
yeah,
like
girl next door
he was
energy
saying
must
that it would be
you know,
completely
chill.
evil of a woman to say like my husband
Welcoming.
makes me unhappy and you know I'd rather just go live with my kids alone
randomly
in fucking
cultured
Alaska.
And
I'm saying that people should be able to do that and be hedonistic and chase their desires. And
enigmatic.
they shouldn't be like
At the expense of
it's not always at the expense of child. Maybe the child
is.
would have a better life not listening to
I
mom
was
and
talking
dad yell
about
at each other all day
specific
long.
Use of at the expense of the children.
We're all
Prioritizing
enigmas.
her happiness over the expense of the children. Like, hey, left that part out, but that's what I actually said.
The children
We're
can
existing
prioritize
within
their
the
own happiness when
time
they get older.
of
Oh.
2 total
No way you
eclipses,
just said
and
that.
mind you,
The
that is
children
not.
can prioritize
does not
their own
mean
happiness when
that
they fuck
two-
those kids, little bastards.
That does not mean
Now you know
to
why I wanna
totality.
throw
I
them
understand
in
what the
the
freaking fuckway you
Because
guys,
they
you know,
need to
I know how
prioritize
to
their
read
happiness
society a
when
little
they get
bit.
older.
You know,
see
I
myself
exist
as one
within
of those
society
people
a
who
little
come from a
bit, you
broken
know,
home,
things and
and
stuff
I'd
and
like to be
such.
able to prioritize my own
And
happiness
I
and
would
my
imagine
circumstances.
that,
Even
you
over your
know,
own
2
children.
freaking would totally be able to
If
freaking.
I had to divorce my
rule
husband,
and
okay, I don't
freaking-
want to get divorced. I definitely don't. And obviously,
But if you were
Five,
after divorce,
however
that's at the expense
they
of
want
the
to
children.
buy.
I'm
You
not
know what I'm
gonna
saying?
live every
What
day
was
in
it?
misery, but I would have to weigh the values at that time,
The
especially
value.
considering
One ring to rule them all.
And
You were unhappy. You wanted to fuck John down the street because
I wouldn't.
John looked really good and had a nicer
I
car.
wouldn't.
You know, that is just reflecting on the voting system that I had just mentioned is flawed. Just because, sir, you are on a show and you are, you know, things and stuff and such, you are viewing my things and stuff and such. You are on a show and you are not going to, you know, there's no, I'm not sitting over here, I'm not talking over you, I'm not, you know, I am not
We're visible.
not mentioning the fact that your opinion is valid. I am mentioning, though, that the flawedness within the voting system would be, I'm not going to sit here and I'm not going to cater to exactly what you want, because who even are you? You're a guy that is on a freaking podcast show that we have viewed a few times. I've not seen you cry. I've not, heard your, some of your deepest secrets, and I've not heard you or watched you make a freaking an ass of yourself. So I have no valid reason to tickle your fancy by playing into your rhetoric.
Unexpectedly human.
And
penalties, so that you can't go to
that doesn't mean that
You
So-
just
not
so
gave
it's
me an
been-
exception. You just gave me a huge exception. Like, it could have been based on any other number of factors besides wanting to go fuck the neighbor.
Yeah, and in all those
As
factors
I
should be taken into consideration for a penalty or an at-fault
watch
divorce instead of a no-fault
your
divorce.
penalty.
Who's
your
at
penalty
fault for the
throws.
divorce? So
Your
if you
penalty
decide to
throws,
divorce
your
your happiness
penalty
over
kicks.
your family, you don't get to walk away and get the kids and get the car and get the house.
Get the
and
car,
the
get
money.
the kids.
Fuck that.
They do that in divorce court anyways, basically.
Yeah, but that's because it's a no-fault.
No, you're not gonna get the car, get the kids.
Why you want the
Meh.
divorce, and
I
you
say
come
meh
back
to that.
And then you could determine who's at fault and the
You
explain
can
that's correct.
you can
fucking
Uber
Georgia. You went out and fucked John down the road.
and
Same thing with the husband.
John down the road, or is it Jenny down the road? Might just walk up to you and freaking
I recognize everything you're talking about
Again.
is like bad for the kids. but I
Discipline
still
you
don't
the-
understand
discipline
why
you the
would bring
ruler.
law into it, especially if there's
because that is
people out
totally
there
within
like,
my rights
I don't
as a
know.
freaking American.
not
It
I mean,
is.
the law's involved in it.
who
either
might
way.
not even like think that the nuclear family is
This-
important at all.
Ruler happens to be
Yeah,
from
that's true, but
Cabela's.
That's really, again, when it comes to what is optimal for children, if you are intentionally raising your kids outside of a nuclear family as like some kind of FU to society, then you're immediately doing something which is you should probably think twice about, right? So if this happens all the time, essentially it's single mom regret, right? They'll go and they'll get knocked up because they really, really want to have a kid, and then they go, fuck, I really didn't think this through, because kid wants dad, kid wants a dad. There are women who get- now this isn't
who's
a
this
study
kid
at all,
baby
right?
dude?
I'm just bringing it up to kind of make an example, but there are people who go and they impregnate women as a job. They actually just go-
There are people that come on shows and try to act as though it is their job to mention opinions on YouTube and freaking podcasts. This is such. Your opinion is valid. That does not mean I'm going to cater to your opinion. As a matter of fact, I may look up everybody in this world that thinks the way you do and not cater to your freaking opinions. It's within my rights.
Kids out there.
To
they went and met up with someone's mom.
to be,
Someone
you know,
was
lay it,
probably shouldn't have
lay
done
it,
that.
lay it.
I really wanted to have a baby, but you didn't really think about the ramifications.
Real
of not
Trump
having dad.
donated $200. I can't wait to see Andrew's wife on the podcast. She did a great job hosting the watch party yesterday, and I can't believe Brian tried to get the most conservative Republican chicken and rice WTF.
Yeah, what the fuck was that? That was a personally offensive, that one. The chicken and rice. He's never offended me before, that was
You
it.
seemed a
the chicken
little
and rice?
upset.
It reminds me of the
Just the previous
this
stream,
Chinese restaurant.
we were DoorDashing some food.
Oh, you are
It was
so
like
Chinese
pizza
restaurant.
And you got him chicken and rice?
No, I got him a burger.
No, I got a big ass cheeseburger.
Got a big
Yeah.
old cheeseburger.
That big old cheeseburger, gotcha. You know what I'm saying?
Appreciate the message.
McDonald's-
I have another chat
McDonald's.
here that I'm gonna pull up. We have Ta.
Special.
Donated 100. Hey, thank you, man. I don't know what I am. Okay. Thank you.
Me neither, bro.
That was
I don't know what I am. I've just been on a
That was
freaking
also
podcast a
and
few
that was my
times.
joke about your joke about that joke.
Meta.
Yeah. Well, that's meta to the meta.
In my
Last two
opinion,
things
matter.
we have for, I believe on the show, the dating
And your
talk that you
honesty,
were
your
on,
opinion
you had said something about
has always
you
been
wishing you
disturbing.
weren't.
And your honesty.
That's
That
something,
is
Is that a
rude.
joke,
that's
or-
something that I very quickly backpedaled on.
Oh, okay.
I think it was definitely misconstrued. I didn't mean it as like, because you guys had a valid argument there. If I did mean that, then I basically was saying that I would have killed myself already. But the argument.
No saying that.
Jesus was real,
Okay,
so
sorry
he would
about
have
that.
freaking showed up
Deleted.
as a winged dragon.
Deleted, yeah.
Yoinked my
Rawr, rawr.
But
Yoinked.
Yeeted.
Yeeted
She
myself
yeeted
off
herself
a minute.
off. Yeah.
But the point that I was trying to make was he's already mentioned so many times, children of families that are not traditional,
Crocs could be recognized
have really
as
rough circumstances for the child.
Jesus back throws. Because if everything is,
the mom can know before they give birth that
backwards.
they're gonna give birth to a child in awful circumstances with no father or not enough money to take care of them. Why would they put a child in that circumstance? That's basically what I was saying.
Okay.
And you're right, I think.
I'm
What
going to
do you
actually
mean?
read this one just because.
Invite the Bertha!
Ben George, thanks for having a cordial debate. Give her props for willing to be here. Let's hope she realizes she needs to prioritize her child's needs over happiness, and she does it for herself.
Well, there's great hope. She's still a damn kid.
Yeah, thank you, Ben. Appreciate it.
I want
Just
to
double
make
check
you
everything
lose your
over
mind.
here.
God has sent a
I
sign.
guess just final question on the feminism topic.
Keep some time.
Right.
Because all those motherfuckers always asking things.
What rights
Making
do
art
men have
and,
that women
freaking things and
Legally.
stuff and such. We don't need to
I think.
assimilate,
And what the hell you need
you
feminism
know,
for?
to
Like I said, it's
The
about
words-
the ideas, not the laws. It's about the fact that if
mention
I decided to work while also caring for my
within the-
children, I would be called a bad
within
mother
the times
prioritizing my happiness over
before-
my child. But
before the
if
Never
he
Never.
chooses to be more nurturing towards his child, he's not
Welcome to Never
considered
Never.
a bad father for not.
we were mentioning times before the Never Never. We're not subservient.
Men are allowed
Subjective to
to
times
take care
before
of
the
their
Never
children,
Never.
be good fathers
Freaking
while
big
also
way.
working.
What kind of
Women
douche are you?
can only
Yeah,
do one or the other.
you're only listening to freaking
Completely
I'm going to, live my life through the prophecy of the freaking music from the
Bad
80s.
mothers are bad mothers, bad fathers are bad fathers. So there can be.
And you're out of date.
who
Think that
are,
Devin does,
as you could say,
There
are
is
far more paternal than men who are not, who are far worse fathers.
there is legislate in people's opinions.
All the time are far worse fathers than men who are highly paternal.
Lost in
That's really not a good point.
lost in the law. In
Just like there's women who stay home and
misogynistic-
are terrible mothers, and there's women who
what
are
is
good
it?
mothers.
Freaking things and stuff and
All
such.
we're doing is we're trying to associate what we'd like to see as a society.
Have you long
Same thing
time
with
misogynistic?
egalitarianism. We want all of
Goodness
society
gracious,
to
I
move
don't,
towards
I
equality.
must
I want
dictionary
all of society to
definition.
move to a different outcome.
Morality.
Which is towards a stable outcome inside of society, which would include
Dead
a
sides.
patriarchal
No,
system, which
freaking
enables women to be
alive lies.
Because that sounds
You know,
fucking
It doesn't
awesome.
The
enable them,
essence
it
of,
forces
oh my
them.
gosh,
It
I'm
doesn't force
alive.
them. How are they being forced? What have I said here which would lead
Maybe I should
force?
chronicle
Because
the,
they're
chronicle
not
my
allowed to work,
life
they have to stay
and,
home
No,
and
they're
take
allowed
care
to
of
work.
children. You just said
write the
they're
new
not
chapter,
sending kids
write
off
the
to
new
public
Bible.
daycare.
Yeah, what you're trying to do
The
is
new
push
Bible.
society towards women.
Hang around,
moving
that is
into
right.
the workforce, which means
Comedy bits
don't go
here,
to
you know.
college and get a degree. It's a waste of your fucking time.
Comedy is a
Start
rarity.
family instead,
Comedy is
and
a
the government
rarity in
can
the world.
create incentives to,
Sometimes. I honestly, I think,
have you
you know,
start
That's
I
impossible
would
in the
mention
current
that,
state of society, though.
people,
What?
What you just said.
and,
No, it's not.
people are
It's
funny.
just-
You
If I
know,
didn't go to
everybody's
college, I
funny
would
in
be
their
working
own
at a fast food
ways.
restaurant for the rest of my life.
Not funny.
No,
Maybe
you could get
think
married
that
and have
I could drop shit.
mentioning.
But
No,
like,
you could get married and have children and even have a home business. What do you mean?
okay, but I mean, like, what I'm saying is, like, let's say a woman is coming out of, like, poverty, and there's no guarantee that men are going to provide for her because, there's so much feminism out there and men who don't want to pay for women anymore. How else is she supposed to guarantee her own financial security?
Well, this is the problem, right? You're moving back to a prioritization of you, and you should.
You kind of need the money to live.
You do need money to
You
live, that's
should.
true. But what used to happen is women would stay at home with their parents as they would look for suitors who would marry them.
What if they hated their parents or their parents were
Well,
abusive? They just
okay,
had to deal
but
with
we
it.
don't want to move society into all exceptions, but that would happen, and what would happen is they would move with their aunts, their uncles, their extended families, and these things were a lot closer together, and they had a much better community because there was a lot more of them in these cramped
Find
environments.
who you are
It's a good thing.
within
I would like
the
to get back to
essence
that.
of.
If
Okay,
women
nuclear
have it so
family
much
system.
better in that patriarchal society, then why wouldn't you want to be a woman in that? You want to be a man in that
Yourself.
society?
How could I be a
Find
woman?
who you are within the
Okay,
essence of
I'm saying
yourself.
theoretically.
As far as
Theoretically, I would want to be a
depending
woman,
on,
but that's because my
being,
ontology
or
can't.
depending on
I can't
men.
really understand what that would even entail. So I
That-
could never
that-
actually
are you
understand.
mentioning a scenario
sex and
in
attraction
which
to men and things
you
like that.
would
Like
be
I
dependent
can't,
on a male.
I can't fathom those things.
You know,
But
financially.
I'm not supposed to be able to. That's outside
So
of my purview. I
you
can
can do things and
understand
stuff and such
to a
together?
degree. You know what I mean? Like
Or,
I
you
can
know,
rationalize it.
you
and
could,
I can
you know,
logically
you could-
walk through it.
uh,
But I don't really understand.
But I'm saying in the
shop
context of
and
you're saying women have it so much better and safer in this patriarchal
and
society.
stuff and such, you know?
Wouldn't
it's
you
way
want
better
to
to
be?
be- it's way
Wouldn't
better
you
to
want
be
to
a
be a
woman.
woman in that society?
Like if I had to be born, so logically,
Yeah.
I'd say it would be way better
you
to
would
be a
want to
woman.
be born a woman.
It would be way better to be a woman.
You would not be
inside.
talking to me on this podcast
It would be
right now.
way better.
I don't
to
know,
be
it
a woman
depends
inside
on
a patriarchal
what-
society.
It
like
depends
we had
on
even
what
just 100 years ago,
society
leading into
of
just
the
80
world.
years
So you just
ago.
want to stay
You
at
know,
home every day?
you live in, you know,
That's what you
or
want?
what part of
Rough life.
society, what part of the world,
Bastard.
you know, because there are parts of the world where,
Stay at home, kids.
you know, women are not
Enjoy
equal,
life.
or they're not
You think
treated
unemployed
as
people
equal,
are
and,
happy?
you know,
I
even,
mean,
Yeah.
you know,
You
I
think that
feel
all
as
those
though
people got to stay
real
home during
women
the
should
lockdowns were like,
be
I really wish I could go to
coddled
work
and
today instead of
things
sitting on my
and
ass at
stuff,
home
and
and getting a huge
within
paycheck.
the essence that
I
with
love that
real
shit.
women
People
And
have a
people
natural
stayed home with their
essence
kids,
to
especially the ones that stayed home with their
provide
kids.
comfort
They stayed
and
homeschooling.
care.
Homeschooling shot up through the roof because they realized
So,
how much
to,
superior that
you know,
system
that's-
was when they were allowed to do
You
it.
know.
The system that they were indoctrinated into.
Do people not get gratification from their work?
Of course they do.
Isn't it a part of who they are? What identity
it
would
can
they
be,
have
sure.
besides I'm woman, I cook clean, I'm
You know,
same as all other women?
that's what
Versus
parents
you can
do.
say,
You let
I
your
want to be
child
an
do whatever they
astronaut,
want,
I
so
want
you
to
can,
be a political
you know,
debater,
allow
I
your
want to be a
child
podcast
to
This
host.
assumes anything
figure
could
out
ever
on their
possibly
own
be
who
more
they
important
are.
than being a mother. Could you think of
and,
anything
you know,
more
what
important
they
than that job?
believe, rather
I
than
mean,
try
the president of the
to,
United States probably.
The president of the
you
United
know,
States is there to protect what?
The nation. I don't know. I'm saying
Mothers,
have
right?
them
And
resent,
fathers.
you
So
know.
I can't think of a more important job for a woman,
But
an
then
individual
again,
woman,
things and
than being
things
a
and
mother.
stuff
what about
inside.
being a father for an individual man?
You know,
Why isn't that his most important job?
It is
healing
an
family
important job.
issues
No,
is,
obviously
you know,
him going out and making
healing
money is more important than him being a
essences
father.
of resentment.
Because he's enabling
Oh, so,
the
you
mother
know,
who has the most important job.
if you
ever,
were doing,
which
if
is
you
being
were,
a mother.
if you were
Only she can
performing a
be
job,
there.
you
To
know,
stay
if
home with the
this
kids
is a
great
job,
privilege for her.
I don't realize,
To be able to
you
do
know,
that, stay home with her
you know,
own
sometimes
kids.
a job to some is
You
just
don't
having
get to
fun
decide
to,
whether or not that was
to-
a great privilege for her.
I'm not deciding that it, whether or not it
You
was
know.
a great privilege for this particular woman specifically. I'm just saying that the fact that that can even be done in modernity, I don't see how you can see it as anything other than
all right, so
privilege for a
you're
woman to be
mentioning
able to
that
do
I should view it as a job
So if we could
because
live
of,
in a communist society where no one
both
had to work,
positive
and we could all live
and,
under like a government,
you know,
or a
all-
billionaire as the
you know,
patriarchy,
all essences
wouldn't
with
you want
of
that?
implication
Are you
within
saying
the-
you're against like productivity in society?
Communism is the move
Things-
towards a
just
stateless
generally.
society. Communism has the same impossibility. By the way, communists were the original feminists, just so you know. But
I am aware actually.
yeah, but just so you know, communism suffers from the
She
same
really just
wholeness
went there.
logic as feminism, which is enforcement. Communism is the move towards a stateless society.
Who's going to
And
enforce it? Yeah, I know, but I wasn't making an argument.
so I couldn't.
I was not
Why?
making an
But
argument
your
for communism.
argument's not logically possible, so I can't even respond to the hypothetical. It's not even logically
whenever
possible.
What did I
it's
ask?
You
unlogical
asked me if you could live in a
through
communist
the
utopia
perspective
where
of
nobody had to
a
work and
observer.
everybody was just paid equally.
If you've
I could,
observed
I guess,
me
engage
for
and
years
say,
and
sure,
years,
I
and
love that. If
I-
such a thing
I've
was possible, but I
not
don't think it's actually
been,
logically possible
you know,
because of the lack of enforcement. So I don't
logically
even think that that's
sounding
a valid
as though,
hypothetical, because
you know,
it's just
I'm,
illogical. It's not even possible.
you know,
Okay.
It's like there's some
enhancing
hypotheticals
my
that are not
views,
logically
you know,
possible.
enhancing my views could be, you know,
Okay.
pissing people off
What I
by
meant though, on a broader
me
scale,
sharing
was
a part of myself
this
that I've
seems
not
to be very
mentioned or
anti-capitalist
things and stuff and such. That
mentality
does
to
not
have the
mean
workforce.
that I'm not the
of the
same
workforce.
It's not important to me.
Oh.
But neither is socialism.
person
That's
that,
worse. And what you end up with pure capitalism is crony
you know,
capitalism. We have a great tradition in the United States and globally, especially in Europe, of mercantilism.
enjoyed my
And
church.
that's phenomenal. That's a fantastic system.
Oh, okay.
You enjoyed
Yeah,
my
merchants
church.
being able to freely trade, barter, and you know, I understand having
As
a
we
currency like we have now, but yeah, I think
evolve
mercantilism will always exist. It exists right now,
Into-
but capitalism has become
the capitalistic.
I mean, crony
No,
capitalism.
a little bit more capitalistic. Yeah. Yeah. Just a little bit more capitalistic.
Currently exists.
Oh.
But it's still a
Glad
better
we
system
agree.
than still a better system than socialism and communism.
Well, one's a mixed economy. I have a type of socialism, and then there's like the socialist communist.
No,
the
socialism,
mixed economy of social communism.
In its actual form, is that the state has control of all industry.
You know, you should be
Communism is a state
blessed
society.
that you
So
have
socialism is stage one.
been born
Industry,
into, or
private industry
that
is
you
another
are
state.
present within
And then stage
But
two.
the country of a multicultural country. Doesn't matter.
Abolishment of the system.
Doesn't
that
matter,
it's
you know,
socialism if it's a mixed economy. You said that I was a socialist
perspective
on the basis
of
that I believed on a mixed
Yeah, so,
you know, the main
but that's
governing
because
party,
the mixing that you want in the economy is the
parties or
state's own
things and
the
stuff
means
like
of
that.
production.
You know,
That's the problem. So like healthcare, for instance, that's the state owning the means of production.
Yeah, but you just posited that it would be all of the means of production.
that's
the
why
industry.
I
saying
mentioned
there's so many
sharing,
But socialism
you know,
can start
the
by
sharing,
socializing
you know,
whatever
essence
industries that
within
they can,
religion,
and
okay?
they socialize
We
it
have
for industry.
many different
But then I
religions
wouldn't
within
be
our
socialist,
country
I would be
that
socialist.
are practiced by
Well, no,
literally
you'd be a socialist
every
because you
race
want to see
and walk
all
of life,
industry
you know?
socialized.
No, when did I say that? I had told you
So-
that I wanted to see some industries socialized, like healthcare.
Just
You know,
because
and then
you
you said I was
don't
socialized?
I told you I
understand
believed in
how
mixed
the government is
Mixed how?
collaborating
As in there's still
within
capitalist facets of
the
the economy?
essence of
Which
certain
ones?
religions that are predominant
Actually,
and
I
you
honestly
know,
wouldn't even want to get into
with,
it because
you
I
know,
don't even know
predominant
what
within our
We have
society,
one
because
chat here
if
from
we are going to
IDK, how to play. Hey,
answer,
thanks, man, appreciate it.
you know,
I don't
if we are going to,
Xtians?
you know, grant wishes
Is that
from
what that is?
the essence of opinions
Xtians?
from people that, you know, doesn't matter how many followers you have, we don't really
maybe
know, you know, we don't
Xtians must follow the
know
Bible.
you
Andrew
as,
believes
you
in
know, as,
slavery. Atheists have morals.
you
We
know,
live in
I can't
society
say,
determined
you know,
by
only
consensus.
God can say that He knows your
Xtians
heart.
believe in
Now, coming
okay,
from
Christians
a
believe in
perspective
fiction.
of
Good people don't need God to give them rules.
What makes them? How do you know they're good? What makes a person
a
good?
place
They're not
that
to other people.
you are answering
Why is that
questions from
You literally
individuals
said yourself a
that
categorical imperative.
you
Categorical
heard
imperative
on
was
TV.
Me pointing out.
You know,
what
that would be
meant,
me
not
pointing
that I
out.
followed it.
That
I
would be
followed
me
it.
answering,
Okay,
you know,
treating people as means.
you know,
rather than
the
ends.
questions that
That's
haven't been
another
asked
Kantian principle.
by the
That's
religions and
that's
the
still the
people
same
within
way.
Yeah, but
the
the
culture
question still
subsets
is what
that
makes it good.
are voting, they are taxpaying, they're, you know,
Of what is good and what
you
is
know,
bad.
law-abiding
What
citizens,
makes
they
something good,
they
what
should
makes
be
something
able to
bad,
have the right,
other than
some sort of
preference.
bragging rights. It doesn't matter.
Well,
They
okay,
should
you're
have,
about
they,
to say
they're-
like facts, not
you
feelings,
know,
but here
doesn't matter if you're a
you're
lefty,
just
you
saying
should
like
have
feelings versus Bible.
that
And in my humble view,
humble
feelings are
view. You
more
should have that humble view
tangible
of how
and
you were
real
going to
evidence
best
for
serve your
something
country.
happening than I'd say the Bible.
So what makes
You
it
know,
bad is your feelings.
And within all facets of
How you feel
Well, then
about
if
it?
that's
You know?
the case, then if another person feels bad
That is,
about things
you
you
know.
feel good about, then that would make you bad.
Yeah,
And they're
I
just
would.
as justified in that position as you.
Yeah, but that's why in every decision that we make, we temper our utility versus how much it's going to harm other people. And I'd say what objective goodness is
Harm is
trying to
subjective, too.
decrease the.
Harm is still a subjective metric because what is harm to you may not be harm to him, may not be harm to him, may not be harm to
Yeah,
him.
but it's still less subjective than religion, in my
It's
opinion.
just every bit
Because
as
religion was
subjective.
just like one man decided and wrote it down. This is everyone feels the same way. You can be empathetic towards anyone who has feelings.
You don't believe in objective truth?
Can you give me examples of objective truths that aren't religious?
examples of objective truth. You are objectively
I don't know,
sitting
wrong?
in a
cup,
chair.
cup,
You
and
are
not cup
objectively
at the same time.
speaking into a
Can it be
microphone.
anything other than
Or
itself?
speaking
Can the law of non-contradiction
within
not
the
exist?
spatial awareness of a microphone.
I don't know.
Things and stuff like that.
Okay.
All right. I just want to thank.
I just want to let you know that that's part of an argument for the evidence of God. And while people pretend that there is none, there is philosophical evidence
I
of
did
God.
say I was agnostic and not atheist
Okay.
fully.
All right.
I do want to thank Smash Nitro, who became a Tier 5 member of the channel. Thank you, man. Very much appreciate your support and patronage. Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Stay
We do have
stay.
a chat here via Streamlabs from. One sec, guys. It's loading.
We
Sleepy
should
Bear.
reinvigate that
Thank you,
word
man. Appreciate
to
the Streamlabs message. Self-worth is not
relatable. She's
to
so
be tied.
relatable.
Is
you
not
know, 'cause
be
it-
tied to your
you know, it
profession.
means the same
It is tied
thing.
to your posterity.
Doesn't-
Elderly talk about their children, not their jobs. How you make money is meaningless. Your children have all meaning.
there could never be anything more meaningful than your own children. What else could there be?
Thank you, Sleepy Bear. Very much appreciate it.
You
Guys,
guide
if you
your
want, get
children,
last-minute chats in.
and there are
I'd like to,
essences within
offer
sometimes
up for
your
now,
children,
if you'd like to each
are
make a
inspired,
closing
and your
statement.
children,
During
guide
the
you.
episode.
Your
Yeah,
children
appreciate you coming
inspire
out.
you, and your children,
Very, to do. I hope you enjoyed yourself. All right, I'm not the
enrich your
little
passions
bastard.
for
I have
life
been made
and
out to
invigorate
be,
your
at least not unless there's a panel full of dumb women. Then I become that evil,
perspective.
rotten, no good, et cetera, et cetera. But I do appreciate the exchange. Your worldview
know,
is severely flawed.
sometimes
One thing
people
about you is you're no dummy. I think they
don't
realize that there's some serious flaws
know
there
what they ask for.
that you gotta
So,
kind of work out.
you know,
but other than that, I appreciated the good faith exchange.
things and
Thank
stuff
you.
and such. Keep that in
like I
mind.
said, from the beginning, I
Because
already felt like
I too am a
was
person
probably gonna have trouble
that
classifying my
enjoys
views, and I know a lot of people
providing.
are gonna say like, "Oh,
And
why is she,
I understand
on this
that
podcast." First of all, like
this
I never said that I was an expert,
society
and like I don't know, I kind of people just told me it was
is
a dating
a
podcast,
providing
so I'm not
society,
claiming that
you
everything I
know?
say is like absolute factual truth. I'm just expressing my opinion and trying to make an argument without like hurting other people. I don't know. Or
things
just,
and stuff
I
and
like
such.
that I was able to have a discussion here and find out that I'm not a utilitarian.
Okay. Has he changed your mind on anything, Andrew, or pretty still firm on beliefs?
He's definitely made some points that I've had to concede to with my own views. I don't think he's convinced me of any of his views, but I think I definitely have to concede like on certain stuff, like when I said that I wish that I was aborted, or like the utilitarian thing. I do think you did a pretty good gotcha there with that one. So
Why would I
there are
do?
points
Why
where
would
I
I do
have to backpedal
special
and
case?
concede that I don't make a perfect argument every time, but I would still say I believe in my own views.
What if I had delivered this entire thing the
Mind
neatest
you.
way I possibly could think of, but made the same points? Would you still have the same opinion?
Not knowing or
Even though
realizing
I
the
would
depth.
like I wouldn't be like I wouldn't storm out if you did that.
Yeah.
I think I would just be also very annoying to deal with, and I don't think either of us would have made any productive discussion.
It would have been more entertaining.
We need annoying people in our lives
Just
to
kidding.
provide us with
Let's see,
reason
we're
to
going
have
to,
perspective.
couple quick things, Nick,
Provide
can
us
you
with
pull up the
reason
Twitch?
to.
Guys, I hope you enjoyed the
To
stream.
Google.
Just stick tight for just a bit. Guys, go to our Twitch. Oh, no. Just the followers.
For a long time. Thank you. And
Guys,
for
go to
those that are asking
twitch.tv/whatever.
to, take time. How about you realize,
Twitch has that better streaming quality.
how, you realize the weighing out of,
It's in the
Yeah.
works, but we're gonna have Madison streaming on off days
No,
on our
weight
Twitch account. So guys, that's why I've
within
been pushing
society.
the
You know, I'm talking about weight.
Be
You
sure
know,
to
I'm
follow
talking
us
about
over there on Twitch,
freaking
twitch.tv/whatever. If you haven't
lifting weights. You know what I'm saying? Lifting weights. You know what I'm saying? I'm building muscle. You know what I'm saying?
The follow, they're on fire. Look at all these guys coming in. Thank you guys so much. Drop us a follow, drop us a prime sub if you have one over there on Twitch. Those of you who are on Twitch, we will be doing a raid. But before I do that, I just want to
Into the
saying thank you to both of you for
part of the
appreciate it,
episode
and certainly a little
where
extra
I'm
credit for you
responding
because
to the whatever podcast.
Andrew's tough. He's been doing this for a long time, and
Hey, Rodney.
you're having your worldview challenge, and you go to you're in university right now, and I don't know if you hear much of differing opinions. So credit to you.
By the way, let this be a lesson to the whatever audience. I see people bitching in the comments about me being too mean.
Can I see the fact that you have totally,
debate, didn't you?
made the effort to build up so many people's lives and so many people's opinions within the perspective of freaking social media. Oh, I got freaking social media. I decided to freaking go to the whatever podcast and, just be inconsiderate to those that have, put in the work, put in the effort to, allow their opinion to matter, Unlike individuals that are, just oh, my opinion should just matter, And we're not fighting or arguing as to whose opinion matters or whatnot. We're just sharing perspective. Merely. Anywho, that was the part of our channel in which we troll, and I create an episode out of it. It vibes along with the episode. Stickity. So, be sure to be yourself, be open-minded, be inspired, and be stickity. Batre! Stay tuned. Accept support from others. Allow yourself to accept support from others. Stickity. So much love. Vibe Drive. Stay tuned.